What's something you believe you may be in the 0.1% of? Because I've covered, my sense of taste and smell changed. Now Coke tastes like rust. There's a tree in my yard that smells like roast chicken. I like to eat bananas with ketchup, and now I have the superpower to tell real chocolate from fake chocolate. The list is longer, but I cannot describe the new flavors and smells that I have discovered. Folks who know percentages. At one point, I was the youngest person alive. I know for sure I was in the top 0.05% of Lil Wayne listeners on Spotify in 2020. Number of times watching loops of Look at My Horse. I can solve a Rubik's Cube in 15 seconds. I don't know if it's 0.1% rare, but I think it's kinda cool. I learned how to ride a bike after I learned how to drive a bus. Having played at CBGBs. I have this condition called Miyoshi myopathy, which, thankfully, affects only my calves, and hence my walking capabilities. My doctor told me it is rare, but TBH, statistically rare does not really mean anything. Everyone might have it, but they either did not get out of their way to test it, via taking blood, and had it examined in a lab, or they just never realized there was something wrong at all. If you are wondering why I said thankfully it only affected the legs, it is because it is a muscle disorder, and some disorders affect cardiac, heart, and pulmonary, lungs, muscles that will obviously not be pretty. I have to get tested every year to make sure all my vital functions are normal, and as of now nothing significant is noted, and I should be living a long and healthy life. Getting accused of being a notorious serial killer on Reddit by a few Reddit people. Why? Reddit username. I can move the tip of my tongue through the back of my mouth into my nose. Weird Al listeners on Spotify. Triple Crowners 4 through hiking. I'm one of 525 people to have done all 3 major American hikes, and one of 15 to 20 people to have done it in less than 3 years. It's around 10,000 miles. I did more because of the Florida Trail and Pinhoti trails that I did in between. At 2019 CDT, 2020 PCT, 2021. Pooping consistency. Scars on my heart. I have about 30, I think. On my 4th heart procedure, I had 24 cardiac ablations. They used radio waves to kill tissue to create scarring, so that effectively signals can't travel through that way. During one procedure, epicardial, meaning both inside and outside the heart, by the top electrophysiologist on the East Coast. He said only one other patient of his had more done in one procedure. Took 10 hours. I could hear the nurses gossiping about me in the hallway. This was 7 years ago, and now my heart is working great. Reddit karma. Especially the comment kind, because at 7.5 million karma there are only 3 people that have more than me according to KarmaAlb. I have never watched Lord of the Rings, Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones, or The Hunger Games. I have a 3rd nipple. People with comorbid ADHD and bipolar to successfully hold a job for 10 plus years. I can lick my elbow. I have yet to find someone else that can do it. Hypoplasminogenemia, also known as plasminogen deficiency type 1. It's god awful, and I have the rare form of the rare disease with bilateral ocular presentation. Basically, my eyelids peel anywhere from every 6 months to 1 a year, fortunately not at the same time. It's painful and looks like I'm diseased, and there's no real treatment for it that I'm aware of yet. It started spontaneously on the day of my sister's wedding, of course, right when I was 10, and I spent my childhood being told I just had allergies and to keep your finger out of your eye and it'll get better. 17 before I was finally able to go to an eye doctor. He did his thing, dilated my eye, opened my eyelid, and literally said what the hell is that, lol. All he was able to do was debride some of it to test to make sure it wasn't something contagious. I'd been scouring medical journals for years before I finally found something that had pictures that looked exactly like what my eye looked like when it happened. They've run trials with things like eye drops infused with human plasma, but they're always overseas. Apparently it can just as spontaneously go away in middle age, so at least I have a reason to look forward to getting old lol. I've been in many video games top 500, I guess that's a lot less from 0.1% of the world. After a short internet search and no medical diagnosis, think I have something called radioulnar synostosis. From here out I will refer to as RS, which is extremely rare. Basically it's where two bones in my forearm are fused and limits movement in the arm. I can't rotate my forearm, and subsequently, my wrists, the same way everyone else can. I can't hold my hands perfectly flat palm up, and have to rotate my shoulder and bend my torso to do so. Apparently it can happen from fracture, or, rarely, you can be born with it, which is my case. I have also never met anyone with the same condition, or anyone who knew anyone. But apparently, my great-great-grandfather had something similar, but I don't know for sure. I have no preference as to which way the toilet paper is facing. I don't understand why people have such strong opinions on it. I'm an ear rumbler. No idea what the percentage of the population is though. Highest recorded body temperature. Typically people who suffer extreme hyperpyrexia die on the spot or suffer brain damage, but are turned out just fine. Being ambidextrous. It's probably not the 99.98th percentile of people who take typing tests, but in comparison to all typers, 100 plus WPM has to be up there I guess. Genetics. I'm a middle-aged redhead with blue eyes and a full head of hair. Penis size. Not the top 0.1% of course, but some 0.1%. I have erythrobutyrophobia, the fear of peanut butter sticking to the roof of your mouth. Haven't had anything peanut butter flavored in almost 30 years. I ate a PB&J when I was a kid that had too much peanut butter and it stuck in my mouth and made me feel like I was choking. Swore it off because of this. I have a birthmark next to my left eye that changes shades based off how tired I am. I've had many failed all-nighter attempts due to this, because the morning after my parents could always tell that I hadn't slept and would promptly get mad. I ran the 100-meter dash just at 10 seconds several times while training to be an Olympic sprinter. Got in a car accident that hurt my neck really bad a few months before the Olympic trials. So the training went nowhere, but I sure felt like Forrest Gump, you wouldn't believe it, but I could run like the wind. Immunity to depression. That I literally need to learn the lyrics or otherwise I just don't remember it. People all around me sing along songs very easily, while I can listen to a song 100 times and still don't know half of it. Weirdly enough it's the exact opposite of watching films. I remember them very precisely. Men who don't like butts. I'm not fond of owning pets. I'd much prefer a life without pets, and I'm sure I'll get heavily downvoted. I have 2 pups for my kids and I genuinely love them and care for them, but they are a lot of maintenance. Vet care is expensive, I have to vacuum a lot, because they are heavy shedding breeds, they make my allergies act up, when pollen is bad, they roll in dirt, mud, and eat crap off the ground. After they pass on I won't be getting another pet. Not even a hamster. I've never had a headache. I'm in the 0.1% of people who has never seen a single episode of Game of Thrones. Double row of eyelashes. Mine are naturally long and thick, but never gotten told by a doctor. I've got solar urticaria, which is essentially a sun allergy. If I'm out in the sun for too long, the sun is too strong, then I start developing an itchy rash on the skin, exposed to the sun. I can remember all the lyrics of any song after 1 to 2 listens, and never forget them. People who quote Billy Madison daily in the shower, when using shampoo and conditioner, shampoo is better. I go on first and clean the hair. Conditioner is better. I leave the hair silky and smooth. Oh, really, fool? I'm a female jungler in League. I think that makes me 0.1% if I can recall the stats correctly. I also play male champions. 0.1% of people who **** your mom. I was actually ranked even higher than that in Forza Motorsports 3. Of the millions of people listed on their leaderboards, I was ranked in the top 500 for a while there. I'd imagine I'm probably still in the top 1000 if the servers are up and running. Oldest Reddit users. When I first joined Reddit, about 3 usernames ago, it had between 1 and 2 million users. Today, it has 1.5 billion registered users, of which 430 million use it at least once a month. Have experienced ambient air temperatures spanning 200 degrees, -77°F in polar winter in central Greenland to 123°F in early summer on a somewhat warm day in Death Valley. Pull-up strength. I grew to become rather passionate about strengthening my back due to being born with severe scoliosis. I can do a 5x5 with my body weight, 170 to 180 pounds, added in weight. I do these heavier pull-ups neutral grip, however. I think it's better for my joints and better for overall training. Still living with stage 4 lung cancer for 13 years. People who can't cook rice, whether it be from scratch or pre-cooked or danced around, or prayed for, or cooked in a rice cooker. My rice sucks. We are having potatoes with dinner. I rock potatoes. Top 0.1% Ramstein listeners on Spotify. People who shower facing the shower head. General genetic oddities. I'm a 6 feet tall ginger woman with blue eyes, crooked pinkies, several autoimmune disorders, some new thing wrong with my blood. Being special sucks. I'm a first generation PhD holder. Tongue length. My mother had a few miscarriages and was told by doctors that she'd never get children. I assume that I'm probably really damn lucky, but I'm not gonna try to pry that information off her. The number of blankets I own and use has to be in the top 0.1% or at least very close. Every one of them is super soft. Not me, but my youngest daughter. She was born with a true knot in the umbilical cord. We almost lost her during labor. Now here she is 2.5 years later dumping out all the toys in the living room and demanding snacks and the wiggles. Owning Yokai Watch 3 NTSC physical copy.